Homosexuals all over the country are deprived from being able to marry. At this point, the law is determined by the state. I believe that it should be a federal law that states that gays and lesbians can marry if they wish, just like any other person. In all states, except a select few, these Americans cannot hold hands in holy matrimony, just because they're different. The status quo on the subject is that there are 5 states that recognize same-sex marriage, and others are debating it. According to a study done by the Williams Institute at UCLA School of Law, in 2006, there were approximately 8.8 million homosexuals living in the United States. Imagine all those people not being able to marry. And to compare it to other minorities, in size, they're very similar. So if you're Asian, Jewish, or even American Indian, you can see that this number is not small. And why can't these people marry? Because they're different? Because they're weird? Other minorities have fought for their rights, and now it's homosexuals' turn. There are many reasons for why same-sex marriage should be in America. My arguments are that studies have shown that there is substantial evidence that sexuality is biologically determined. Also, it will benefit society, and it is a violation of their religious freedom. Homosexuals should have every right that any other minority has. All states in the U.S. need to allow same-sex marriage for the benefit of heterosexuals and homosexuals alike. I will start my argument with the fact that there is overwhelming evidence that sexuality is biologically determined, which means that they should have every right that any other minority has. Lots of people who are against same-sex marriage and believe homosexuality is a form of defiant sexual behavior, though new studies have shown this to be very wrong. There are studies that have shut down the case that homosexuals are born gay, which is very true. But that is different than gays having the choice in their sexuality, which for the most part they do not. The simplest explanation for how sexuality is determined is a hormonal switch that goes off in the body at one time or another during the upbringing of the person. And if you think about it, it makes complete sense. If you ever look at a gay or lesbian person, you can tell that they have characteristics that are similar to the opposite sex. For example, sometimes gays will have softer voices, and lesbians will have stronger face bones or more masculine body frames. Also, do you really think someone would want to be discriminated against, rejected by friends and family, told to go to hell by the church, and subjected to gay bashers if they were not truly inclined to be with the opposite sex? That seems ridiculous. All evidence that I have just proved says that same-sex marriage should be everywhere in the United States because it shows that they are not different than any other minority. And finally, in America, our foundation is different people from different places coming together as one, and homosexuals should not be any exception. One of the main arguments against same-sex marriage is that it will hurt our community, but ironically, the opposite is true. Because same-sex marriage is not recognized in many places in America, gay and lesbian people most times do not get the chance to settle down and stop living a high-risk sexual lives, which most in fact do. This behavior of no same-sex marriage leads to homosexuals getting STDs like herpes or more dangerous ones like HIV and AIDS. An example of this is celebrity Freddie Mercury of the legendary band Queen, who took part in a high-risk sexual life and ended up dying of AIDS. If same-sex marriage is allowed, this problem should improve substantially. Also, it will help them financially because if their relationship goes down, takes a turn for the worse, they will have financial backup. Furthermore, it will improve marriage on a whole because right now divorce rates are so high that with heterosexuals that with homosexuals it can only get better. The upside for the community if gay marriage is adopted is unlimited. My last argument is that the biggest argument against same-sex marriage is that it is a sin in most religions. But how can the government not allow same-sex marriage because of religion if the Constitution clearly states that they may worship any religion or none for that matter? So many people who are against same-sex marriage and have slowed its progression are people of faith. Though religion may be popular, our law says that religion cannot interfere with law, and it sadly has. Most of the people in Congress are religious, so that is why they vote against same-sex marriage. They should not have a choice in the matter. Some would say, well, if you could believe in any religion, then couldn't you believe in a religion that tells you to kill people? I would say it's a strong argument, aside from the fact that same-sex marriage really will not hurt anyone in any way physically. These people who are anti-gay are just intolerable of other people and shouldn't have the right to put gays down. It's really just unconstitutional for same-sex marriage not to be recognized all over the country. My ideas for a plan to fix this situation are quite simple. The Supreme Court should make an amendment to the Constitution that says that same-sex marriage should be recognized everywhere in the United States. I know this sounds simple, but really the evidence that I have just proved states that it needs to be done. This controversy has been disputed for a long time now, and I hope that I have proved my arguments that same-sex marriage should be recognized in this country. The only thing I ask of you, my classmates, is to look over your views on the topic and come to a logical decision. As a matter of fact, I took a survey in boys and girls in our school, and more than 75% voted for same-sex marriage, so I guess we are not so far from change after all. And since we are the future, things should change. It's only a matter of time. A minority, just like any other one in the world, has to suffer a great deal because a law has not been passed. It is not only unconstitutional, but it will benefit the community if the law is passed. It not only saddens me, but hurts 8.8 million people because they cannot get the same rights that as Americans they deserve. My cousin's husband's mom is homosexual, and she lives in Massachusetts where her and her partner are happily married. It would mean great volumes to her to see the rest of the homosexuals in this country get the right that she has and rightly deserves. There is no doubting there must be same-sex marriage in every state in America. Thank you.